This is Dr. Jimian. Today's video will discuss and we'll talk about the main fuel source, carbs. We will discuss type of carbs, glycemic index, glycemic load, and we'll end up with some of my personal favorite carb choices. This video may change the way you eat. Let's go. As we discussed before, carbs is the main source of our daily calorie intake. In our program, we don't encourage low carb or keto diets because of their temporarily and unhealthy way of losing weight. In general, carbs are classified into simple and complex. Complex does not mean it's bad. Complex means it's complex and difficult for the body to digest and absorb, which is good. How it's good? Because being complex and it's hard to digest it takes longer time to digest and absorb, unlike the simple carb, which can be digested faster and lead to faster spike in blood glucose levels. Example of a simple carbs is processed sugar like candies, table sugar, soft drinks. Examples of a complex carbs like grains and beans. So should we just avoid simple carbs and replace it with the complex carbs? Actually, it's not that simple, which this leads us to the next topic, the glycemic index. The glycemic index is a scale from 1 to 100. Simply, it measures how quickly the food causes a spike in or rise in the blood glucose level. It's classified into low, which is less than 55, moderate, 56 to 69, and high, which is above 70. So why it's important? So with high glycemic index, the blood glucose spikes fast, leading to a fast drop. This makes you feel hungry again in a short time. Unlike food with a low glycemic index, which takes more time with stable levels and lasts longer. So do we just choose sources with a low glycemic index? Well, glycemic index tells us only the immediate blood glucose response. But what about the total effect? How much carbs in a specific quantity? That is the glycemic load. So the equation for the glycemic load is the available carbohydrate in a portion size multiplied by glycemic index divided by 100. So low glycemic load is 10 or less, 11 to 19 is medium, and the high, which is above 20. So how can we use a glycemic load to make food choices? So let's have an example. Let's say we have three choices: cup of pineapple, cup of watermelon, and 2 slices of bread. So 1 cup of pineapple has 19.5 grams of carbs and 2 grams of fiber. So the available carbs 17.5 grams with a glycemic index of 66. 1 cup of watermelon has 11.5 grams of carbs and 0.6 grams of fiber. That gives it around 11 grams of available carbs, and glycemic index is 72. 2 slices of white bread, they have 24 carbs and glycemic index of 70. So by applying the glycemic load equation, we find that 1 cup of pineapple glycemic load is 11.55, and 1 cup of watermelon is 7.92, and the 2 slices of white bread 16.8. So that makes it an easy choice to go with 1 cup of watermelon because they have a lower glycemic load. But we have to know something. There are many things which can affect the glycemic index and glycemic load. For example, adding other stuff like fiber, starch, fat, or protein, they can increase the glycemic index because the body takes more time to process the food and digest it. So fast cooking, for example, also can increase glycemic index. More processing of the food also increase the glycemic index. So with food with a low glycemic index or glycemic load, not necessarily mean it's healthy. So we have to look at some other factors like how much fat's in the food and how the food is being processed. Now, so in summary, carbs are very essential and they are the main source of daily calorie intake. Even the end products of all the carbs are monosaccharides, but they are not all the same. Some carbs being digested and absorbed faster, leading to a faster spike in blood glucose level, followed by a fast drop. These kinds of carbs source we should avoid, especially with patients with diabetes. Some has higher amount of carb load measured by glycemic load. This also we like to keep it in a low range. In the end, I like to share some of my favorite carb sources.